Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as I try to post videos every week. Also give this video a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm slowly but surely knocking out things on the EVO so that way I can have them ready to go, or have the EVO ready to go when it's time for the motor to go into the car. And with that being said, today I'm gonna go ahead and swap out the fuel pump. So I picked up a Walbro 450. That should be able to get to those horsepower numbers that I'm trying to reach. And in addition to that Walbro 450, I have the Torque Solutions fuel pump holder, which is necessary to fit that fuel pump into the hanger. So in this box, we have the fuel pump itself. Comes with a plug that has to be wired in. Also comes with the new fuel pump strainer or fuel pump filter. Has a rubber hose there and a couple clamps. And here's the fuel pump itself. Looks like your standard fuel pump, just a little bit bigger, I guess. And in addition to the pump, like I mentioned before, we have the fuel pump holder from Torque Solutions. Comes with the holder itself, comes with another fuel pump filter, which is kind of cool, I guess. A couple more clamps, and this like plastic hose. And again, you need this holder in order to fit that fuel pump in there. It won't sit correctly without it. So as always, both those items are going to be linked in the description box below, so that way if you need them or if you want them, you can go ahead and pick those up for yourself also. Now the fuel pump in the EVO 10 is actually fairly easy to do. Coming from working on Mark III Supras, that was the first fuel pump I had ever changed, and let me tell you, it was a complete pain to do. We had to drop the gas tank in order to be able to change the fuel pump, and that sucked or whatever. Living in Ohio, like everything was all rusted, there was rusty bolts, everything. The straps were all corroded, it was all bad. Luckily in the EVO 10, it's right up under the back seat, and it's super easy to get to as long as you don't strip those bolts. But first things first, to get started, you should always disconnect your battery when dealing with fuel and whatnot. Actually, when you're dealing with a lot of things, anything electrical, you should probably disconnect the battery. My car has been down for a while, so it's actually already disconnected. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. All right, first thing you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and remove the back seats. So you're gonna pull up on both the driver and the passenger side, and then pull forward, and it should come straight out. All right, now that the back seats are out of the way, you have access to the fuel pump. So using like a flathead screwdriver or something, you can pop off this cover here. It's held on by adhesive, so it might be kind of tight. But once this is removed, you have access to the bolts that are holding down the fuel pump hanger into the tank. So first, before removing the screws, you have to disconnect these plugs and the fuel lines from the tank. This one is by a clamp, so that'll be super easy to get off. This one will require a flathead screwdriver. This is just a plug here, so I'll go ahead and disconnect that now. You're gonna have to push these two tabs out of the way and pull up on this one here. Just like that. Okay, once those are all removed, you have 6 8mm nuts that are holding down the fuel pump hanger. All right, now that the fuel pump hanger is loose, you can go ahead and lift it up and remove it out of the fuel tank. Now, it will require some maneuvering to actually get it to come out. So there is a hose at the bottom of the fuel pump hanger. Use a set of pliers to remove that clamp and you should be good to go. All right, now that the hanger's out, this top hat has to come off to give us access to the fuel pump itself. So what you're gonna wanna do is, there's the metal clip right down here. You're gonna have to remove that. That way, this top hat can come off. You do also have to remove the plugs as well, or disconnect the plugs as well. But once you remove that clip, it's pretty small. Make sure you don't lose it, keep it off to the side. Otherwise, you're gonna be SOL. So you press down on it and remove the clip. Next, you have to remove these clips so that way you can remove the fuel pump itself out of the hanger. Now the old fuel pump sits in here. You can just remove this fuel pump strainer, take a pair of needle nose pliers, and you should be able to pull it right out of here. Now that the fuel pump is out, you'll no longer need this fuel pump holder, so you can put this off to the side. Now the Walbro utilizes a different plug or a different connector. We have to splice in the new connector with the existing harness here. Now me personally, I use butt connectors. I don't really like to solder things because I know over time solder can break due to vibration and whatnot, so I use butt connectors. Because this holder won't work with the Walbro fuel pump, we have to use the one that is provided by Torque Solutions. A couple different companies make them. This is just the one that was available for me. I don't really have a preference. And once it's together, it should sit something like this. Now this hose needs to go on here, and the other end will go to the top of the fuel pump hanger. It looks like this has to be heated up some prior to it going on here, otherwise it won't fit. So I'm gonna do that really quick so that way I can get that mounted on here. All right, camera overheated, but once it's all put back together, it should look something like this. Now we just have to drop it back into the tank, bolt it up, reconnect the lines, and we should be all finished up. Now, I know that with the Walbro 450, sometimes people hardwire them in. I don't know if I'll have to do that. If I have to do that, I may make a video on that as well, or I may just mention it in one of the upcoming videos. I don't know. I'll talk to my tuner to find out if that will be necessary. If not, I'm gonna leave it as is. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this finished up. Our fuel pump is all finished up. I guess we'll find out in a bit if the fuel pump needs to be hardwired or not. If you think I need to, let me know in the comments and I'll look further into that. In addition to the Walbro 450, I also picked up some bigger injectors for the EVO. This time around, I went with some FIC 1440 cc injectors. Bought them brand new. But I'm gonna wait to put those in until I actually put the motor together because it just makes more sense to do it that way. I'm having second thoughts about whether or not I should have just went ahead and got 1700 cc injectors, but I should for sure be able to reach my goal as far as horsepower goes, especially with that bigger turbo that I have on the way. The head is at the machine shop, should get that next week. But if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so that way you guys stay up to date with the progress on the EVO 10. Thanks for checking out the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.